Imagine this. You've spent hours polishing your resume, carefully listing every job, project, and skill you've ever had. You hit apply, sit back, and wait. But days later, silence. No email, no call, nothing. The truth is, most resumes never even get past the first 10 seconds of a recruiter's glance. Or worse, they get rejected by the company's applicant tracking system before a human ever sees them. Here's the kicker. It's usually not because you're underqualified. It's because of avoidable mistakes that almost everyone makes. Hiring managers have seen them thousands of times, and as soon as they notice, your resume goes straight into the no pile. In this video, we're breaking down the 5 biggest resume mistakes that kill your job application. These are the errors that quietly sabotage your chances, even if you're the perfect fit for the role. By the end, you'll know exactly how to avoid them, and how to create a resume that actually gets noticed. So if you've been applying and hearing nothing back, this might be the missing piece. Let's dive in. One of the biggest mistakes job seekers make is sending the exact same resume to every single job. On the surface, it feels efficient. You only have to create one version, and you can apply to dozens of positions in a day. But here's the harsh reality. Recruiters can spot a generic resume instantly, and it usually gets dismissed just as fast. Think about it from their perspective. If they're hiring for a marketing role, and your resume lists every job you've ever had, from lifeguard to retail cashier, without highlighting your marketing skills, they have no reason to keep reading. The truth is, employers aren't interested in your entire work history. They want to know if you're the right fit for this specific role. Now, tailoring your resume doesn't mean rewriting it from scratch every time. The smarter approach is to keep a strong master resume with all your experiences, and then adjust it slightly for each application. That could mean reordering bullet points, swapping out a few skills, or rewriting your summary so it mirrors the language of the job posting. This small shift makes a massive difference. Instead of blending in with the pile of one-size-fits-all resumes, yours feels targeted, intentional, and directly relevant. And in a competitive job market, that can be the edge that gets you an interview. Another resume killer? Bullet points that sound like a job description instead of proof of your skills. Too many people simply list what they were responsible for, instead of showing what they actually achieved. And guess what? Recruiters glaze over those vague responsibilities. For example, imagine you see this bullet point: responsible for customer service. That tells the hiring manager almost nothing. It's generic, boring, and it doesn't show your value. Now, compare that to this. Resolved 30+ customer issues per day with a 95% satisfaction rate, contributing to repeat business and positive reviews. See the difference? The second version is specific, measurable, and demonstrates impact. That's the kind of bullet point that makes recruiters stop and think, this person can deliver results. Here's a simple formula you can use. Action verb plus task plus result. Start with a strong action word like led, designed, increased, or implemented. Then describe what you did and finish with the measurable outcome. Numbers are powerful here. Even if you don't have exact metrics, estimates are better than nothing. When you swap out generic responsibilities for achievement-based bullet points, you instantly stand out from the stack of resumes that all look the same. And more importantly, you give the employer a reason to believe you'll bring real value to their team. You might have the perfect skills and impressive experiences, but if your resume looks messy, it can still end up in the reject pile. Why? Because first impressions matter. A cluttered resume with 5 different fonts, tiny text, and walls of paragraphs screams unprofessional before the recruiter even reads a word. And here's another hidden trap: applicant tracking systems, or ATS. These are the software programs companies use to scan resumes before a human even sees them. If your resume has complex formatting, like fancy templates, graphics, or text boxes, the system might not read it correctly. That means your qualifications could be invisible to the software, and you get filtered out automatically. So, what does good formatting look like? Keep it simple and clean. Use a standard professional font like Arial, Calibri, or Times New Roman. Stick to 10 to 12-point font size with clear section headings. Avoid long paragraphs. Bullet points are much easier to scan. And unless you have more than 10 years of experience, aim for a one-page resume. Another tip, make use of white space. A resume that feels breathable and organized is far more inviting than one that crams in every detail. Remember, recruiters often skim resumes in less than 10 seconds. If they can't quickly spot your key skills and achievements, they'll move on. By keeping your layout simple and ATS-friendly, you ensure that both the software and the human reviewer can actually see your strengths, and that clarity alone can set you apart from a messy stack of applications. Here's a secret most applicants don't realize. Before your resume reaches a hiring manager, it often has to pass a keyword test. Companies use applicant tracking systems, ATS, to scan resumes for words and phrases that match the job description. If your resume doesn't include enough of those keywords, it can be filtered out automatically, even if you're perfectly qualified. Think of it like this. If the job description says they want someone with project management, data analysis, and Excel proficiency, but your resume just says organized, analytical, good with spreadsheets, the system won't connect the dots. The recruiter may never even see your application. The fix is simple, but powerful. Study the job posting carefully and mirror its language. If they use the term digital marketing campaigns, don't just write online ads. If they say Python programming, don't replace it with coding experience. Using the exact wording shows both the ATS and the hiring manager that you're aligned with what they want. But here's the balance. You don't want to keyword stuff your resume with random buzzwords. Instead, weave them naturally into your bullet points and skills section. For example, led digital marketing campaigns across social media platforms, increasing engagement by 40%. That way, you're including the keyword and proving impact at the same time. By ignoring keywords, you risk being invisible in the application process. But by learning to speak the employer's language, you give your resume a much better shot at landing in the yes pile. A final resume mistake that silently kills applications is stuffing it with information that doesn't matter anymore. Many applicants think, the more I add, the better. But in reality, too much irrelevant content makes you look unfocused. For example, if you're applying for a finance role, recruiters don't need to know that you worked a summer job scooping ice cream in high school. It might have been a good experience at the time, but now it clutters your resume and distracts from what's important. The same goes for outdated skills like proficient in Microsoft Word, or random hobbies like watching Netflix. Unless the hobby is directly relevant, say coding side projects for a software role, leave it out. Why does this matter? Because irrelevant details make recruiters question whether you understand the role. They want to see a clear, professional narrative that shows you're ready for this job, not every job you've ever had. So, what should you include instead? Focus on recent, relevant experiences that highlight transferable skills. If you're short on professional history, lean on internships, academic projects, or volunteer work that connects to the role. Every line on your resume should earn its place by proving you're a strong candidate for that specific position. Clean, focused resumes not only look more professional, but also make it easier for hiring managers to picture you in the role. So, let's recap. The 5 resume mistakes that quietly kill your job application are sending the same generic resume to every job, using weak or vague bullet points, submitting a poorly formatted layout, ignoring critical keywords, and cluttering your resume with outdated or irrelevant details. Here's the good news. Each of these mistakes is completely fixable. By tailoring your resume, focusing on achievements, keeping the design clean, aligning with the job description, and cutting the fluff, you can transform your resume from average to attention-grabbing. And that shift alone can mean the difference between being ghosted and getting an interview. Remember, your resume isn't just a list of jobs, it's your personal marketing tool. It's often the first impression an employer has of you, and in today's competitive market, you only get a few seconds to make it count. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to subscribe for more career advice, job application strategies, and workplace insights. And if you want to boost your chances even further, check out our related videos on interview prep and job search hacks. Your next opportunity could be just one application away.